Hello and welcome to English Digest. I'm Seb.
And I'm Sam.
And today we're going to be looking at one of my favorite language exercises. That's right, it's time for some translation. Today, as usual, you're going to be looking at two sets of sentences, each one with some challenging English for us to get our heads around. Ooh, okay, so in today's episode, we'll be talking about competition controversies and the love of adventure.
好的，马上呢看到我们第一个单句翻译咯，我们呢要讨论一下比赛的争议性。什么比赛呢？第一句呢，它中文就说选秀节目自从宣布获胜者之后就饱受批评了。那注意到呢，我们在这边使用的时态呢是现在完成时哦，因为呢是自从宣布获胜者之后到现在呢就已经饱受批评。从过去某个时间点持续到现在的事情，我们就可以用现在完成时来表达。
So that first sentence is, this talent show has met with a lot of criticism since the winner was announced. Okay, so we saw that phrase met with, didn't we, Sam?
OK， 好的，看到呢，我们这个遭受什么事情，或是经历什么样的反应，这个事情发生之后得到什么样的反应呢？我们可以用 meet 这个动词哦，但是呢，我们注意到是 meet with something。OK， 我们后面呢加上一个事情，或者是呢，我们可以说 be met with something， 后面我们加上一个名词，意思就是说得到后面这样子的反应。比方说呢，我们可以看一下例句哦 ，The brand's advertising campaign met with a great response from consumers。这项品牌广告活动呢，得到了消费者良好的回馈。那注意到呢，我们知道呢 meet 这个字呢也有跟什么人会面的意思。如果是要跟什么人会面，我们是 meet with somebody。
And so, meet with is one of many verbs and phrases we can use when we encounter a certain situation. Now, because life is full of positive and negative experiences, there are actually a lot of different kind of verbs and phrases like meet with that we can use. So you already know that one from the sentence. And encounter as well is probably one that you might have encountered before. But here are some other useful ones. So we can also use the verb suffer, and when we suffer a situation, we go through something very difficult or painful. So, for example, the people of this city suffered many hardships after it was invaded by foreigners. So we're saying that, life was very difficult for them. They probably went through some very tough times. And so we could say, rather than just saying they met with difficult times, we say they suffered it, and you get an idea of this being a particularly bad thing that they went through.
They've been suffered.
Yeah, exactly. They were suffering. And the opposite of that would be enjoy, which is kind of like 享受, isn't it?
Yes.
So that's the exact opposite. We enjoy a situation that is a good situation, something we encounter that is fun or brings us a lot of benefits. So, for example, Taiwan enjoyed rapid economic growth between the 1960s and the 1990s because obviously economic growth is a good thing. That's more money. And lastly, an advanced one, if again a negative one here, is to be mired in something. Now, mire comes from the noun quagmire, which is a kind of dirty, sticky swamp, like the kind of one where you can't really walk through it. And before, people would have to walk very long journeys to get around quagmires. And so why would this be? Because when you stand in a quagmire, you get stuck. The mud sticks to your shoe and you can't move. So what this phrase means is you're stuck in a really bad situation, one that you can't get out of. For example, this government has become mired in corruption in recent years. Okay, which is never a good thing.
OK， 好，所以呢，看到我们刚刚说的这个 meet with 或者说 encounter， 你可以用这个遇到，但是这样的字词呢是比较中性的，所以呢，你可以用一些比较直接有意思在里面的动词呢，在你的文章里面来做替代。比方说像是 suffer， 就是你已经受苦了，或者说你 enjoy， 你很享受。或者是说呢，刚刚这个 mired 呢，它则是表示说，就是好像沼泽一样，你被这个卡在里面动弹不得了。所以呢，你可以用这些字词呢，来跟这个 meet with 或者 encounter 来做一些代换，让你的句子呢，在动词就已经让这个读者知道说，你要表达的是负面或是正面的意思。那另外呢，在我们的句子里面呢，它是遭遇了很多的批评哦。 批评呢，我们就可以使用这个名词criticism。那呢，它可以搭配的动词呢，比方说像是 draw criticism， 或是呢 attract， 或是 provoke。OK， 这些动词呢都可以来搭配我们这个名词批评来使用。The country's leader provoked public criticism after signing a controversial trade deal。OK， 该国的领导人呢在签署了一项这个有争议性的贸易协定之后，引起大众的批评。OK， 我们这些动词 draw、attract 或是 provoke 就是引起批评的意思。
Yes, and also we can provoke someone when we make them angry. So, for example, you might have heard like your parents say, "Don't provoke your sister. Don't make her angry so she gets in trouble."
Yes.
Right, another similar verb we can also see in the news is to blast someone or to blast someone. So, blast, that is B-L-A-S-T, means to criticize someone very strongly. So this is real newspeak, and you'll see it a lot in newspapers, especially if you read English language news in Taiwan. So Taiwan News and Taipei Times use the word blast a lot. So, for example, members of the DPP blasted opposition politicians this Friday for their recent actions. In other words, what we're saying is that people in the DPP criticized some other politicians very strongly for something they did. We could also say that the DPP spoke out against the other politicians. And that's a little bit different. They're not maybe as angry, but they are more having a big public statement to say, we are against this or we don't like that.
Okay.
So, he spoke out against the new law. He told everybody that this new law was no good and we shouldn't have it. So another informal version of blast as well is to call someone out. And we can also say to call someone out on something. So, for example, Tom called his sister out on her lies. So she had been lying and thinking she'd been getting away with it. And Tom said, stop lying. He made everyone aware that his sister was lying.
OK， 好，所以呢，这边呢，除了刚刚才帮大家补充这些批评的用法之外呢，我们还有一个用法是遭受批评哦。遭受批评呢，我们可以搭配这个动词片语 come under，OK，come under criticism。那后面呢，我们可以加上 for， 再加上一件事情，因为什么事情而遭受批评。那呢，我们可以在这个 criticism 前面呢加上，比方说 heavy 啊，或者 fierce 这些形容词来表达说呢，他是遭受了严厉的批评。The company owner came under criticism for getting rid of his staff's year-end bonuses. 这间公司的老板呢，因为取消这个员工的年终奖金而备受批评哦。It's really bad thing for company owners to do.
Yeah, we need our bonuses at the end of the year so we can save a bit of money. So we could also talk about coming under some other things as well. We could talk about coming under fire for something. And originally we used under fire to mean that someone was being shot at. So if you imagine that instead of bullets being shot at you, someone is shooting criticisms at you. That means that person is saying a lot of bad things about you or they're really, really angry at you. When someone comes under fire, they are in a lot of trouble for it. So, for example, the president of this country came under fire for saying the women there shouldn't vote. That is really not okay thing to say.
好，所以呢，这个 coming under 除了这个 criticism 你是遭受很多批评之外，你也可以说 coming under fire。OK，fire 就是这个你想象在这个战争当中枪林弹雨之中，那所以说 coming under fire 你就是接受了很多的批评。那另外呢，刚刚讲到说呢，我们句子是使用这个现在完成式哦，所以我们看到自从我们就用了 since 这个单字。since 这个单字呢，我后面可以加上过去某个时间点，或者是呢接一个过去式的子句哦，表示说是从这个时间点，从这个事情发生之后到现在，自从这个时间点之后一直到现在都怎么样。所以呢，在我们这个现在完成式里面，很常用到 since 来表达这个你的时间点发生是从什么时候开始的。那 since 这个字呢，它还可以当做连接词哦，它就有这个因为的意思。OK， 它呢很常呢就可以跟这个 because 或者是呢 for as 这些连接词呢来互换使用。OK， 我们可以看一下这个例句哦。Since Miss Clay wasn't able to come today， 因为克雷小姐今天没有办法前来哦 ，I will be teaching the class instead， 所以我会代替她来教这门课。OK， 在这边 since 呢就是当做因为，跟我们刚刚讲说现在完成式的自从很不一样，所以大家在这个句子里面看到 since 要特别留意它的意思。
Another one that we could look at too is due to, so D-U-E, due to. So this is a noun phrase that we can use to introduce a reason for something. So for example, we're saying that due to is a phrase. We would say that due to plus noun phrase, or we could say due to the fact that, and then subject, verb, etc. You have the rest of the sentence. So for example, let's look at one with a noun phrase. Amy isn't coming on holiday due to a lack of money. So a lack of money there is the noun phrase. Another one is Amy isn't coming on holiday due to the fact that she doesn't have enough money. So, we have to adjust this one very slightly if we want to add a subject afterwards.
OK， 所以呢，看到我们讲说，因为呢，除了我们刚刚讲的 because 啊、for as 或者是 since 之外呢，我们还可以用这个片语 due to。那 due to 呢，后面它有两个用法哦。注意到它的 to 不是一个不定词哦，它是一个介系词。所以 due to 后面我们可以加上这个名词。刚刚说 Amy 她没有办法在假期期间回家哦，因为怎么样呢 ？A lack of money。OK， 这个就是一个名词，因为她缺钱。OK， 或者是呢，我们可以说 due to the fact that 后面再加上一个子句哦，把你的状况描述出来。其实两句的意思是一样的，但是它用法不太一样。那接下来呢，我们继续看到我们第二个要翻译的句子哦。中文呢，就是说许多观众要求得到解释，为何一个看似不如其他人优秀的参赛者会赢得比赛。在这边，我们就用现在进行时表达一个正在发生的事情。
So we've got our second sentence here as well. Many viewers are calling for an explanation as to why a participant who seemed inferior to the others won the competition. Okay, so we have a couple more bits of grammar and phrases to look at here. Firstly, calling for.
好的，所以呢，在这边我们看到要求得到解释，要求或是呼吁呢，我们就可以用 call for 后面呢加上一个名词哦。你要呼吁的是什么事情？要求的是什么事情？例如呢，我们这边说 calling for an explanation， 要求一个解释。那要求或是呼吁某人做什么事情呢的话呢，我们可以说call up on somebody to do something。这个 up 呢是可以省略的。比方说呢 ，the activist group is calling on governments around the world to fight climate change。这个活动组织呢呼吁各国政府一起来呢抵抗气候变迁。
They're trying to make a change there. So we don't just call for explanations, though. We can also demand or insist on them, too. So many viewers are demanding an explanation, or many viewers are insisting on an explanation. Both of these mean the same thing in this context. The viewers are saying that the competition must give them an explanation as to why they chose a bad winner. We can also use insist on to mean that someone does something even when people give them good reasons not to. So here is another example with my darling sister. My sister insists on watching TV with the volume turned up when I'm trying to study. So in this sentence, we're kind of implying on the idea that I've already asked her not to, or that she knows that she shouldn't do it because I'm studying, but she still turns the volume up and she watches TV.
Yeah. 好，所以呢，我们看到呢，这个我们除了这个用这个我们刚刚说 call for，OK， 呼吁或是要求之外呢，要求你也可以用 demand 或者是 insist。insist 这个字呢，还有这个坚持的意思哦。比方说呢，像刚刚 Sep 的这个姐妹呢，就是已经跟她讲说呢，我要读书，你电视不要开那么大声，但她还是很坚持要开很大声，我们就可以用 insist 这个动词。那注意到呢，在我们这边呢，看到这个参赛者这个名词呢，我们就可以用 participant 或者是呢 contestant。participant 呢这个字呢，不只是可以参赛呢，它参加其他活动也可以使用，就是参加者。那注意到我们后面加上一个 in 这个介系词，再加上呢你参加的是什么活动。比方说呢 The participants in the volunteer group raised thousands of dollars for medical research。 这个志工团的参与者呢募得上万元以作为医疗研究。注意到呢他们是 in the 什么 group， 他们是参加什么样的活动。
Exactly. Careful with that preposition. So we saw a participant, we saw contestant, obviously someone who is in a competition, but another word that we could use for someone who takes part in something is a volunteer. Now, a volunteer wouldn't be in a competition necessarily. That's because a volunteer is someone that helps out or does some work for free. So it's kind of like 志工 in Chinese.
Yes.
Yeah. So a volunteer, a contestant, a participant, all of these three different types of people all participate in different activities, don't they, Sam?
Yes. 好，所以呢，我们刚刚已经学过参赛者怎么讲。那如果说参赛者你是参加比赛，参加的动词呢，我们就可以使用 participate。那注意到呢，跟刚刚一样participate 后面我们加上一个 in， 再加上你参加的活动，或者是呢，我们可以用这个片语take part in 后面加上活动，意思是一样的。The teacher expects all her students to actively participate in the discussion. OK， 老师呢希望所有学生都能够积极的参与讨论。另外呢，我们还看到了这个用法呢，不如谁来的优秀。不如谁来的优秀呢，我们就可以使用这个片语be inferior to 后面呢加上另外一个人A 比 B 来的不优秀。那如果是 A 比 B 更优秀呢，我们就是 be superior to 后面加上另外一个人OK， 或者是另外一件事情，两件事情来做比较。比方说我们看到这个例句Zach's cooking is far superior to mine as he is a trained chef. 查克的烹饪技巧远比我优秀因为他是受过训练的主厨。
You would hope so. He's been to cooking school.
Yeah.
You would want him to be a good cook. All right, let's take a quick break and then let's move on to our second sentence of the day.
好的，马上呢，我们继续看到我们 Part B 的单句翻译喽。在我们 Part B 呢，要翻译的跟我们第一个很不一样。我们要来讨论这个你是一个什么样个性的人喽。好，第一个单句呢，我们看到他说呢，热爱冒险的人不喜欢受限于充满一成不变的例行公事的生活当中。那因为呢，我们现在讲是一个存在的事情，因为这些人就是热爱冒险的人，他不是存在于过去，也不是存在于未来，所以呢，我们在这边就使用这个现代简单式来描述这个事实就可以了。
So that sentence is people who love adventure dislike being restricted to lives filled with unchanging routines. I can definitely agree with that.
Yep.
But what kind of people? People who what?
好，所以呢，这边我们看到什么样的人呢？我们就可以说 people who， 或是呢 those who， 后面呢加上一个复数动词。那另外一个呢用法，任何什么样的人呢，我们就可以说 whoever， 或者是呢 anyone who， 后面呢再加上一个单数动词。它的意思呢，跟刚刚我们讲 people who 或是 those who 有一点不一样。它的意思是任何什么样的人。OK， 比方说看这个例句 ，Anyone who finds the stolen diamond will be rewarded handsomely。任何寻获失窃钻石的人呢，都将获得重赏。任何人，不管是老人、小孩都可以。
It doesn't matter who it is. In fact, we could actually restructure that sentence again ever so slightly and say, whoever finds the stolen diamond will be rewarded handsomely. So there's a lot of different ways we can use.We can talk about 怎么样的人. Right, it's also worth noting that if you end up studying or working in the UK, that in British English, you can actually use either who or that in this sentence, sentence one. That's because in British English, unlike US English, where you must use who with people when you're introducing a clause, in the UK, we can use that as well. So, for example, people that vote for the UK government's Conservative Party often live in rural areas.That sentence would be correct in the UK, but not in the US. So when it comes to your Taiwan college entrance exams, though, stick to the US way of doing things. Just remember, if you go to university in the UK, you don't have to worry about that too much.
Yeah, okay. 好，所以呢，接下来呢，我们看到这个限制某人或是限制某事情呢，我们就可以使用这些动词，比方说呢 restrict， 或者呢 confine， 或者是 limit。后面呢，我们都可以直接加上这个某人或是某事。那另外呢，我后面可以再加上一个 to， 这个 to 是一个介系词，注意到了，我们后面再接上这个名词或是动名词，表示说限制他做什么事情，不准他做什么事情。Ned limits his daughter， 注意到 limit 后面是及物动词 ，Ned 呢限制他的女儿怎么样呢 ？To two pieces of candy a day， 限制他女儿 to 后面加上一个这个动名词或是名词片语2颗糖果，一天只能吃2颗糖果。
Wow, I hope he gives us something else to eat too. Okay, so we know about limits, confines, and restrictions, but what do we call it when we get rid of these? Very quickly, we liberate ourselves from them. So liberate, that's spelled L-I-B-E-R-A-T-E, is a verb that comes comes from the noun liberty, which means freedom. Therefore, when we liberate ourselves, we free ourselves from a restriction or a rule. We can remove that restriction or rule. And if that feeling of becoming free makes us feel really good, we can also say that it's very liberating. That is an adjective. So just as the way we would say that something is exciting or frightening, it makes us excited or frightened. We can say liberating makes us feel free. Okay, so for example, Mary found it liberating to quit her 9-to-5 job and travel the world. It certainly must be very liberating to do that. One can only dream.
好，接下来呢，我们看到呢，在这个句子里面还讲到说，这个一成不变的，我们就可以使用这个形容词 unchanging。这个 unchanging 就表示说，这个东西从过去到现在呢都没有改变，但是呢，注意到它不代表它不能改变。如果说呢，要说这个它是不能改变的，我们就要用 unchangeable。我们先看一下 unchanging， 我们先造一个例句哦。The universe may seem unchanging, but it is actually in constant motion。这个宇宙呢，貌似一成不变，但其实它一直都有在持续的在活动。所以 unchanging 是没有改变，但是它是可以改变的。那我们刚刚讲说不能改变的，就要用 unchangeable， 它是无法改变的。Though our origins are unchangeable， 虽然说我们的出身是没有办法改变的 ，we can decide the kind of people we want to be， 但是我们可以决定想要成为什么样的人。
We can't change the past, but we can change the future. Okay, so we're talking about things that we can't change, unchanging things. And what are some similar words we can use? Well, actually, unchanging is an interesting word because it can have positive meanings or negative meanings. So, for example, we can talk about something being consistent, reliable, or stable. Those are all words which are to do with things that don't change.
Yes.
Something that is consistent, remains the same from start to finish, and you can trust it, you know, you can rely on it, and it is reliable. Whereas here is a few difficult ones which take unchanging and make it sound a little bit more negative. We can talk about something being tedious, that is Tedious, tedious, which just means something very repetitive. You have to do again and again and again. You know, your homework, your chores. Normally something which doesn't have a lot of meaning as well. Something really annoying. And monotonous is another similar word, very similar word to that same meaning. So that's spelled monotonous. A lot of N-O-N-Os in that one. And lastly, we have a kind of an idiomatic expression, and that is being in a rut. Rut spelled R-U-T. So a rut is kind of like a ditch that you might find in the countryside, or it's also sometimes like a dip in some wood or a surface where something gets stuck. So if you're in a rut, like being mired in something, you're stuck in one place.
Yeah, okay.
Greg hates his tedious accounting job. Every day he does exactly the same thing. He feels like he's in a rut. Okay, so we use two of our words there.
好，所以呢，一成不变的，注意到呢，我们有比方说像是 consistent, stable 或是 reliable 这些呢，从头到尾品质始终如一是好事。但是呢，这个 unchanging 呢没有变的，也可能是坏事。比方说像是 tedious， 就是呢表示说一成不变的，或者说 a rut 一个坑哦，你就是卡在这里动不了了。那呢，我们接下来看到第二句子呢，他说他们勇于接受挑战，这些呢爱冒险的人呢。他们勇于接受挑战，并且享受克服困难之后带来的成就感。那一样呢，我们是延续这个刚刚的句子，使用现在简单式呢来描述一个事实。
They have the courage to take on challenges and enjoy a sense of achievement after overcoming difficulties. Okay, so we're talking about those adventurous people there and how they are making themselves really take on the world and take on challenges as well, aren't they, Sam?
好，所以 take on challenges 就表示接受挑战哦 ，challenge 就是挑战，所以你接受就是 take on。那 challenge 呢，另外你也可以搭配其他用法，比方说呢 present 或者 pose a challenge to 后面呢加上一个人一个事情，这个呢意思跟刚刚接受挑战不太一样，它是表示说对什么构成挑战，或是为什么东西带来挑战。The teacher posed a challenge to her students, asking them to increase their test scores by 5%. 老师呢为学生带来挑战，要求他们考试分数进步5%。
I think that's quite an easy challenge
Yeah.
to take on. Okay, so if you've heard that awesome 1980s song, take me on by AHA, then you'll know that we don't just take on challenges. We can take on other things too. We can take on someone or something when we compete with them. So, for example, few people expected the underdogs, that is a team that doesn't normally win, few people expected the underdogs to win when they took on the best baseball team in the country. Okay, so let's move on now and check out a sense of achievement.
在这边呢，我们说 a sense of achievement 就是成就感的意思。所以呢 a sense 一个什么样的感觉呢？我们就可以说 a sense of 后面加上一个名词来表示什么样的感觉。比方说呢，很常看到的像是 a sense of well-being 这个幸福感，或是呢，比方说 a sense of humor 幽默感 ，a sense of insecurity 没有安全感等等我们就可以说 a sense of 后面加上一个名词。
So because sense means feeling, we can use a lot of different phrases and idioms. I'll give you one now. We can talk sense into someone, and that means to make someone see reason when, they're arguing a lot, they're in, or they're, just being a little bit stupid.
Yeah.
To get someone to see reason. So, for example, can you please talk some sense into Jonathan? What he's suggesting is absolutely mad.
OK， 好，所以呢，再来我们继续看到呢，这个在这边我们说克服什么东西，克服困难之后带来成就感，克服我们就可以使用这个动词 overcome。那意思相近的其他动词呢，还有比方说像是 conquer 这个字呢，它通常是指这个征服国家、征服民族所以它也可以指这个你征服这个挑战、克服这个困难。或者呢 surmount 就是好像你爬山一样你突破你爬上去了，所以你就是克服了这个障碍。I will surmount any obstacle in my way in order to achieve my dreams. 我会克服任何障碍来实现我的梦想咯。
Climb every mountain, cross every river.
好的，所以呢，这边呢是我們剛剛 Part B 的句子，我們呢休息一下。
Unit 8. Translation. February the 14th. This talent show has met with a lot of criticism since the winner was announced. Many viewers are calling for an explanation as to why a participant who seemed inferior to the others won the competition. People who love adventure dislike being restricted to lives filled with unchanging routines. They have the courage to take on challenges and enjoy a sense of achievement after overcoming difficulties. We've overcome a lot in today's episode, haven't we? So, just like our person in the example sentence, we've taken on some challenges and overcome our obstacles. So, unfortunately, that is all the time we have for in this episode. You guys might want to check out the exercise section of your translation. But for English Digest, this is where we leave you. So, I'm Seb.
I'm Sam.
And we will see you again next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.